And we're live.
Another Patreon only hangout here. Today's topic is juicing. Yeah, all kinds of juices and ways to do it and why it can be awesome, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the possible challenges and downsides to juicing. We want to hear your thoughts and your experiences with juicing. We want to share our experiences with juicing. You know, when we first started out with the raw food diet, we did a lot of juicing and all that cool stuff. So we'll talk about that today. It's a live only Patreon hangout, of course. So if you're with us, say hello in the chat. And Ape Living is already there. Xander and Jenny Marie. Xander says, "Good morning, buds. I've got a big jar of OJ for the occasion." Nice.
Good one.
That's good. And Jenny says hi. C.A. Hall says hi, Mikkel and Mads. That's autumn.
Yeah.
Cool. We got a good, nice, what is it called again? Turnout already. Cool. Glad to have you with us. And just to mention it, of course, we're going to post this on YouTube in a few weeks. And if you're watching the recording of this on YouTube, then know that if you want to join the next hangout and be in the chat like those guys are now, you can head over to patreon.com and sign up there. We post exclusive content there. We have these hangouts. We have Q&A videos where we answer your questions every month. There's also a coaching level, etc. Sean is with us as well.
Good day, everyone. First time I've managed to tune in. It's midnight here. Wow. Yeah. Good to have you with us.
Very good. Glad you can make it. And Jenny Kaneliarta is also in the house. Hi everyone. So we got both our Jennys. That's good. Just a technical thing. Why is it saying the stream is bad?
It was like that last time too.
Let us know how's the quality of the stream and that sort of thing. It says here that it's a bad stream status bad. Let us know if you can hear us well and etc. Autumn says hi to Jenny. She's home during a live hangout. It's been like 6 months. Well, really cool. It's super exciting to have you guys with us. Jenny says it looks great, so that's good.
Yeah, good.
All right, let's. Should we jump right into the topic?
Yeah. Well, let's just first touch on the topic that it's so damn hot in Europe. It never ends, but possibly today it might end. It's supposed to rain starting very, very soon.
It's a drought, actually. It hasn't been raining here for weeks, possibly even months almost. Like it hasn't been any serious rain for a couple of months now. It's been like really warm, and we're hoping that it's going to rain today, and the clouds are looking crazy, so hopefully it will.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue to juicing, because I guess in a time like this when it's really hot, in the summer in general, it's pretty cool. Juicing is actually a pretty cool way to eat. If you think about it, I mean, it's a really great way to hydrate.
Yeah.
You could even get into using juice as a sports drink, I guess. We could talk about that too, celery juice and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Let's talk about the performance stuff in terms of juicing as well eventually. But let's start out. Well, Jenny Kaneliarta, she's in Sweden. She says that it's so damn hot there as well. And Jenny Marie passed a creek that was dried up. And Autumn says it's hot in the UK. So yeah, it's hot everywhere almost. Not really, but in the north anyway.
Yeah.
So
there's I was gonna say something about juice. Obviously, you just.
Why don't we just go back to where we first started out with the raw food diet and how we found juicing first and how much we juiced in the beginning.
Yeah.
When
we all started from Dan the Man, right?
Dan the
Life
Man.
Regenerator.
Yeah, I remember actually. It started with me before even you knew about any of this. I was living.
This is the thing where it's possible that I saw some videos from Dan the Man before you saw it, but then you saw it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you got hooked, and then I got hooked, of course.
So I was living in London, and I think it was late 2010, possibly early 2011, when I, came across this crazy guy on YouTube, Dan the Man, the Life Regenerator. making videos, and he was talking about a raw food diet, and of course, especially he was juicing a lot, standing outside his van and juicing, classic Dan the Man stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started. I came home from London, and I was inspired about permaculture and healthy living, and a little bit like interested in like raw food. Like it made sense to me, and because I was so influenced by Dan the Man, I decided, hey, I'm gonna juice. And we didn't have a juicer, so I remember the first few juices that I made. I went and we bought like lots of vegetables. Well, it was mostly my project first. I bought a lot of vegetables. We had a blender. We blended it up, all the vegetables like through this like green sludge, and then I poured it into like a cloth. I closed it and I squeezed out the juice through the cloth, and I got this crazy green juice, lots of greens, but also some apples and carrots and stuff.
Which apparently is what Jenny Canella has. She said that she has no experience with juicing other than occasional celery juicing with my blender and nut milk bag.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So you know what we talk about.
Yeah. Sean says that the first time he juiced was after watching the movie Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead.
Yeah, that's true. I also watched that, and it was inspiring. Yeah, of course.
The juice fist was the answer to everything. That's also how we felt a little bit in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And so, well, he says he knows a lot more now, of course, but looking back, it's funny. Yeah. That juice, the first few juices, I noticed something. I was like, I had a lot of energy. Like I felt really energetic eating that, and looking back, I'm thinking it's probably just, ease of digestion compared to like bread.
Yeah.
Ease of digestion, high sugar, delivered to the cells, bam. Delicious, actually.
I mean, we were used to like a few years of overeating on calories every day, feeling sluggish and tired and bloated and stuffed all the time. So I think juicing for us, it was like we just had a large juice and we filled our stomach, but we still felt fresh. And then we went out in the sun and bicycled all around. So it's like it's the combination that can't really go wrong for someone starting out.
Yeah, I remember I convinced you that we needed to go for a little hike. I made a juice, and then we went out for a hike up this, through the forest and eventually up this ski slope to the top. It's like one of the highest points around here. And we sat and we drank the juice along the way like fuel. And you liked it, right? I mean, you didn't.
It was like 30% disgusting.
30% disgusting.
But it was tasty too.
Yeah, rest assured, 3 months later we were out picking dandelion to make juice. That was definitely disgusting. Dandelion juice, like pure dandelion juice. Again, inspired by Dan the Man, but that's some disgusting stuff.
You can.
It was a lot of fun.
If you search on YouTube for "real men drink dandelion juice for breakfast," I think that's what it is. Real men drink dandelion juice for breakfast. Then you get a video from me for around that time.
A little bit before, during that time, yeah.
Yeah, from a different channel, which is it's crazy.
Yeah. Matt has another channel, or he was making videos.
And this was the second channel even.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Quanto bit thingy.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
The point is, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. But it was a lot of fun. I remember seeing Dan the Man drinking dandelion juice, and it was just so epic the way he did it.
A liter.
A liter of dandelion juice straight up. That's crazy. But we felt amazing on that hike, though, at the top of the mountain top, and we felt just so awesome, and we were basically converted to the juice religion, to the raw food religion, and we were totally inspired. Autumn says she juiced about 15 years ago, but didn't have a $37.50 to make a pint of juice. It's expensive, right? To buy all that produce.
Yeah.
Did the stream die, or is it just my end? No, it's back. Okay. Yeah, because that's how it really started for us with the raw food. We started juicing, but we also started eating raw food. And we went to this local shop here that we still go to now, the Turkish shop in our local town. Diane is with us too. Hey, Diane. and she and we went there and we bought so much produce there, like every third day or something, because we would just go through like huge amounts of food juicing it. That the people there were immediately like shocked at how much we bought and started giving us discounts. And still to this day, we're getting like 5 to 10% off every purchase there almost.
Yeah.
Just because we started with such a bang, you know.
Mm. It was very good. A good time.
Yeah, but considering buying a juicer, yeah, we did buy a juicer eventually. We only made the juice a couple of times with the blender, and then we realized we digged it, and we decided, hey, we need a juicer. So we bought a juicer, just like a normal juicer, Philips, I think it was.
Centrifugal juicer.
Centrifugal juicer.
It was good. There's also a time later on when we started juicing our greens. We bought a manual juicer for when we went to La Palma on the first time, because we needed something that wasn't electrical because we didn't have any power in the house we were living in.
Well, only a little bit.
Yeah, so we had to manually juice, and we juiced all our lettuce that way, which by the way was disgusting. But we were in a point where we were like, we really need to eat greens. We don't know why, but we're not going to take the chance. But we didn't like making salads because we just liked to eat our fruit meals as they were. Yeah,
we were making lots of salads, and we were just finding it difficult to eat a huge fruit meal for dinner because we were hungry and fit in a huge salad. Yeah. So for a little period of time, we basically thought, hey, what if we juiced our lettuce? And we started juicing our lettuce, and we every day we would get on La Palma like organic, really high quality lettuce.
Really bitter
stuff. And we would just like juice that stuff for like half an hour, 45 minutes every day. I remember you took the responsibility at one point for juicing, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
And you were just juicing for like 45 minutes a day, getting these concentrated lettuce juices, and we would just drink them. Yeah, it was time consuming. But yeah, I don't know. Did it really help our health so much? Probably not. But probably didn't hurt either. Yeah.
So that's pretty much our story in terms of juicing.
Yeah, because after that, it was starting to fade how much we were juicing, and since then we've just been juicing on occasion just because it's fun. Yeah. And yeah, Diane, you're right. Cleanup is really a time-consuming part of juicing. So much stuff. All the cleaning the juicer every day, all that stuff. Xander Ape Living says, I was originally inspired by juicefeasting.com years ago and recently discovered John Rose's channel. He's awesome. He calls it a solid food vacation. Yeah, John Rose is a pretty cool guy. And a solid food vacation, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, definitely mentally it can be
exhausting.
No, I was going to say the opposite.
Exhausting to juice, but I was going to talk about juicing, but you
yeah, I was talking about the actual juice feasting, I guess. Just drinking juice can be a mental kind of trip to go on. Kind of like Banana Island, like where you're only eating bananas. Juice feasting can be kind of similar.
It's like a simplification, like an extreme simplification of your diet in a sense.
Yeah.
I haven't done it for a long time. I think the longest I've done a juice feast would be like, did I do 7 days or did we do 7 days?
I can't remember that.
I think I might have done 7 days. At least I've done like 3-4 days, that's for sure. And several times I've done like a 1 day juice day, whatever.
Yeah.
And the way I would do it would be that I would aim to get us enough calories. I would literally drink like I don't know, 7-8 liters of juice, 10 liters of juice, I don't know, crazy amounts. Yeah, like drinking a full jar every 1.5 hours or something like that. Yeah, like I would drink a lot of juice, and I had a lot of energy. As long as I was getting enough calories, I was feeling energetic. I remember doing things and feeling great. So really, I don't have any negative experiences with juicing, really.
No. Well, there was the kind of. We have noticed some weirdness going on with blood sugar from really high glycemic fruits.
Yeah. Well, if you're
grape juice and stuff.
yeah, grape juice, and if you're just pure grape juice,
Yeah.
and also most of all sugarcane juice, you know, like that stuff can be a little bit, you know, if there's no fiber there, it just like goes into your bloodstream a little bit too quickly. That could be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Xander says that John acknowledges that water fasting is more powerful and for detoxification and regeneration, but most people can't take the necessary time of work, so he recommends juicing. Still a break from fiber, so the digestive tract can rest and start to purge mucoid plaque, but you still get plenty of calories to maintain activity. Yeah, I think I'm not sure about the digestive rest. Like, I know Doug Graham says that there is no digestive rest; it works just like normal. But then on the other hand, that doesn't make sense. It has to be some level of digestive rest. But you know, as long as there is food coming into the system, the colon, the intestines start peristalsis and start moving things through. And if you look at it, there's another. So I guess maybe if it's just a juice, it wouldn't really do that much muscular work. So in that sense, it has to be a digestive rest.
Yeah.
I think so. It makes sense that it is a digestive rest. But then there's another part of digestion, and that is uptake and absorption. And some of those channels of uptake are active, and they have to be sort of regulated a little bit by the nervous system is involved, etc. So I think to a certain extent, your digestive system is still working. But I guess that's the point. But you know, water fasting is the only thing that's going to give you a true digestive rest. Juice fasting is something in the middle.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He says that he also drinks about 6 to 8 liters, which makes sense. I'm thinking like juice. Depending if you're adding fruit juices and stuff, you can easily get around 300, 400, 500 calories in a liter of juice. So.
Yeah. Diane says that she loves the taste and gives her a lift, but then she feels a small dip in energy later. And yeah, I think that that might be just because you're getting a blood sugar spike from the juice, but it might also just be because you're not actually getting enough calories, right?
Yeah, it might be like yeah, that was kind of what I was gonna say. Whatever.
Yeah, like because I mean, if you're used to eating, like if I'm used to eating 3,000 calories a day, and then suddenly one day I have a juice of like 300 calories for breakfast, and I usually have 1,000 calories for breakfast, for example, then obviously a few hours later I'm going to feel a dip in energy.
So let's talk about where juices can be beneficial, or rather like pros and cons. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Would you mind just letting your watch rest? Let's do that. That's a good idea. So, well, first of all, there's more questions and stuff. I just want to address that stuff because there's no point in us just talking about what we want to talk about when there's.
Sean Byrne says, nowadays you can notice Can you notice a difference when you feel? Sorry. Nowadays, can you notice a difference in how you feel after drinking a juice versus drinking a smoothie? Do you feel that each one has a place or serves a particular purpose?
Good question. I haven't had a juice in like 2 years, I think. It's been a couple of years since the last time I had a juice, really.
Maybe.
I have the juicer in my room though. I took it it was out in the barn. I brought it in because I wanted to make a juice. So maybe I'll do that one of these days. I think though that a juice versus smoothie is a pretty huge difference because a smoothie is nothing. It's just like eating. The fiber's there, and it's a whole food. It's just that you've done the job that the stomach will usually do with homogenizing the food and sort of stuff, and you don't have to chew it.
Yeah.
But
it feels very good in the stomach. Like it feels
normal.
Yeah, but instantly like very digested. If you eat a salad, there's so many kind of edges and stuff that it takes a while until you feel like just settled.
Yeah.
But a smoothie is just like smooth.
Yeah, that's true. So I and the way I feel about it and the way I think about it is that a smoothie is nothing. It's pretty much the same as eating. whereas juicing is very different. You're taking away the fiber, and I guess we can talk about that in the pros and cons a little bit. Diane says that she still feels that energy dip despite eating the same amount of calories. So in that sense, I guess it is probably makes sense that it is the blood sugar thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, the total opposite of a juice, sugary juice, would be, if we're talking carbohydrates, would be something like starch, potatoes. They're going to be slow release, even though they are kind of high glycemic. But point is, probably you're going to have a more stable calorie into your bloodstream, as opposed to the juice, which might make you get a lot of sugar into your bloodstream very quickly, and then.
But then again, we're now talking about apples and carrot juice and grape juice and all these sweet juices, right? But like a lot of juices are made with a lot of celery and a lot of greens, and in that sense, it's not actually a very sweet juice, and there's not that much sugar in there anyway. Yeah. So I would lean towards that. Like if I'm having juice, I would lean towards having a less sweet juice. That's probably healthier. But then again, then you're struggling with the calories again. But if you're just doing it for a couple of days, you might even have a sort of weight loss objective in there. Yeah. In that case, it's okay, right, that you're not eating enough calories. And if it's on a long-term basis, then I think probably you shouldn't be juicing only anyway. So in that sense, a low-calorie juice can be okay, because then just a few hours later, you'll have a more calorie-dense fruit meal or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like Sander says here, that if someone is really unhealthy and they've been eating a bad diet, they might not be able to handle as much fiber when they switch to a fully raw diet. So then juicing can help the transition, and that's a good point. That's possible. Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. I mean, changes in fiber intake is definitely the biggest factor for digestive problems. Like it takes a few weeks probably to get used to a certain diet, a certain fiber intake.
Yeah, so juicing can be good for that transition. And then everyone loves juice. That's another thing. Like it's just when it's sweet and delicious, just throw a few apples and a few carrots in there. You can essentially get someone to get a lot of beneficial nutrients from vegetables. And I guess we're into talking about the benefits now, the pros and cons. Yeah. And I guess one of the biggest benefits with juicing is that you get a lot of nutrition in a very easy way, you could say. Like, for example, if you had a person who doesn't eat vegetables, they don't like vegetables, they should, but they don't, and maybe they eat a crappy diet and they're really lacking in vitamins, etc., and they're just refusing to eat fruit, a juice would be, like a vegetable juice, would be a really good way to get them to consume a lot of those minerals and vitamins in a very easy form. Like anyone could like to drink half a liter to a liter of juice. Like starting your day with that could be nice for anyone, and that would be a good way to just sort of get those nutrients in.
Yeah, for sure. Just wanted to say, Jenny Kanelata says that it's lightning outside and she might get disconnected, so I just wanted to she asks the thing, she says that
there might be lightning here too, so it's the same weather system probably.
She asks how's our experience with it regarding she says that she's under the impression that juicing is particularly beneficial if you have something to heal.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of goes back to what Sandra was talking about earlier, I guess. What is the point of it like some people say that fasting, like pure water fasting, is very beneficial to heal your body of certain things, because you're getting a total digestive rest, making your body focus its energy on healing whatever it needs healing. And the idea is that a juice fast or feast is kind of a middle way, where you're getting calories and some nutrients, but you're also getting a digestive rest. Whether that's true or not, we don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards thinking that it's not the same, because there's something special that happens when you do a water fast. You actually go into a very different metabolic state, go into ketosis essentially.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the benefit of a extended juice feast has more. It's more beneficial in terms of getting a lot of nutrients into someone who's not been getting what they need for a while. It could be a beneficial way to just get a lot of plant nutrients in. B, it's a simplification process, just like what we talked about. It simplifies a lot. Like it's a mental kind of, it's almost like a spiritual thing almost. You're just juicing for a while. There's something special about it. And thirdly, there's that transition thing that Sander mentioned, with the fiber and everything for someone transitioning. And then the fourth aspect is something that we probably don't talk about too much. People don't talk about this too much, but it is probably one of the most important motivators for most people, and that is weight loss. Because when you're drinking a lot of juice, it's pretty difficult to get enough calories, and so you typically end up undereating, and then you typically end up losing weight, even though you're constantly eating. You're drinking, anytime you get hungry, you have another juice, and it fills your stomach with a lot of volume, but there's not a lot of calories in there. So I would say it is a decent strategy for weight loss for a limited period. So if weight loss is what you're looking for, it's a great sort of strategy, I think. So
for sure. Ape Living says that on his past 2 juice feasts he got mucoid plaque out and pinworms. That's disgusting, but also very interesting. I'm thinking there might be something to juice feasting in terms of most, if not all, of the calories and or nutrients are getting absorbed early in the digestive tract, making parts of the digestive tract that might have parasites be completely without food for a certain amount of time, which might make them not survive.
And then come out.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's certain types of fiber that only gets, but that's probably bacteria. Yeah, whatever. That was interesting.
Let's talk more about the pros and cons of juicing. So there's another pro of juicing, and that is if you disregard the fact that you have to buy a lot of produce and there's a lot of preparation and there's a lot of cleanup. If you disregard that, it's really convenient. Actually, you can sort of bring with you a lot of juice. Like, I guess it's not convenient, actually. It's very inconvenient, but it is practical in terms of, like, again, it's the simplicity. Like, if you're on a juice feast and you're making jars of juice and you're going to work, you have like 3 jars with you. You'll drink one every 2 hours or something like that. And then it's just a matter of, like, I've got my juice. That's the benefit of simple diets. You're not thinking about food. There's no question what you're gonna eat. There's no speculation, and you don't give in to cravings or anything like that because you're having juice. That's what you're doing now. You're just juicing, and it's very, like, simple in that sense. Some cons. There are, of course, some cons in terms of, as a long-term strategy, it's probably not something that should be the staple of your diet, right? Like, it's okay for a limited period as a cleanse, so to speak, or as a sort of trip. And
we're definitely made to eat fiber.
Yeah, we should eat whole foods. Again, we could probably have a juice on a daily basis for the rest of our lives, and we will be perfectly healthy. It might even be beneficial in terms of getting some valuable nutrients in, etc. But the majority of our food should be whole food, like real food. Fruit is really the only thing that's ideal, but cooked stuff, sweet potatoes, and stuff is also decent. I would say better than juice. If I had the option of living on juice or living on potatoes, I'd choose potatoes personally, because that's just something about chewing, swallowing something, and having something fill your stomach that is not just like liquid. So there's certainly, that's the only apart from the blood sugar thing, I think that's the only con I can really come up with health-wise. That it is the lack of fiber is a problem in terms of your long-term staple type regimen. Like it shouldn't be your staple.
Yeah.
But for a limited period, I mean. Xander says that one of the cons is that people can misuse this strategy to by yo-yoing. I can go back to cooked food and do another juice fist. Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the biggest problems with the idea of a cleanse.
Yeah.
When people do cleanses of any sort or detoxes or whatever, first of all, it's questionable whether or not the particular detox that they're doing is function is actually a good idea, or if it's healthy, or if it's even productive. But even if it is, the problem is that they have this, they get this kind of mentality that it's just a temporary thing, and then they're really clean now, and then they go back to eating whatever they ate before, and then they do it again, back and forth,
especially because they might be under eating while doing the cleanse, and then they feel really hungry, and they just have to have hamburgers again.
Yeah, and that is the definition of the binge purge cycle that is so common. It's an eating disorder essentially, so I would recommend anyone out there who's interested in incorporating juicing in their lives. It should be when you're doing a transition, it should not be just like a period of time that you're doing something. You should actually change your life for the better. You should do something about your diet. I mean, all of you guys here in the live stream, of course, you're into this stuff already. But if someone isn't and they're like eating a standard diet, I would not recommend that they go on a juice feast. I would say, hey, you should change your diet towards a plant-based, whole food diet, preferably fruit-based diet, lots of fruit, even vegetables and cooked stuff if you want. There's varying degrees of it, and juicing is one of those things. You can have some juice if you want. You can have it every day if you want.
There might even be benefits to including juice in the transition period.
Yeah, and you might even want to have fun for a little while after you've started your new diet, to go on a juice feast for a couple of weeks and then back to your new diet. But to go straight from a standard diet to a juice feast in this idea of cleansing, I think that can be a bit of a challenge.
So Sean Byrne earlier said that Charlotte Gerson, I remember.
Gerson therapy, that's like a juicing therapy.
Has said that carrot juice has a lot of similarities to breast milk and would be a much better alternative than baby formula if you can't produce milk. I don't know. It's probably really healthy, but of course nothing beats breast milk for babies. I think if I was a woman and I couldn't produce milk, I would probably get another woman to produce the milk for me. I'm sure there are
maybe
services.
Is that possible?
Well,
do they produce enough milk for two babies?
That's what I did. I mean, you can get twins. They did that back in the olden days. I think it's called milkmaids, or
that's interesting. And if you couldn't do that, then I would probably try and make juicing would probably be a good place to start, right? Like, if you were out and it was the apocalypse and you had a baby with you, we found a baby and there was no people around, but somehow we had a huge stash of vegetables and a juicer. Then we would make juice for the baby. Diane says that when she has whole fruits, then there's no blood sugar symptoms unless she eats more fat, and that's my experience too. That's good. Whole fruit, it's just the real deal. It's what it's all about, and the fiber slows down the uptake of sugar, and unless you have a very low insulin sensitivity due to high fat intake, then you're able to process that sugar well, and blood sugar stays stable.
Or being fat. You can have low insulin sensitivity by being fat and or overeating for a long period of time.
Yeah, partly, yeah. Sanders says fiber is good for long term. He agrees, yeah, that's true. And the bacteria feeds on that fiber, and so that's definitely true. You know, let's talk a little bit about juicers and type of juicers.
Yeah. I mean, there's the centrifugal one and the
Yeah,
manual
we had a
one.
centrifugal one, which is the one that spins around like that and spits out the fiber into a big thing, and then the juice comes out. And the pros of that is that it's quick, fairly easy to clean and stuff. The cons is that it doesn't necessarily get out everything.
No, in fact, we were worried at one point. I think that it wasn't necessarily pulling out the fat soluble ones. I think, or something, because maybe it's locked to the fiber at a deeper level than say vitamin C.
Yeah.
Maybe, but this needs to be tested, I guess.
Yeah. But we took the fiber and we put it back in and
Yeah, in
juiced
fact, we
this
always
another.
did this.
Almost always we juiced it twice just to get out more stuff. Then there's another type of juicer, which is like the slow juicer,
Yeah,
and that's the one you want if you're essentially like a wheatgrass juicer, right? Like, or if you're just juicing greens, it's like a slow thing
squeeze.
that goes through here. You put it in there and you put it there and it goes slowly through there, and it comes out, the pulp comes out very dry, so you get really good extraction rate, but it's slower and you can't really juice like big things as quickly and as easily. You know, with a centrifugal juicer you could shove like 3 carrots in there and just like
Yeah,
but with the small one you have to you cut the carrot in half maybe and go like that way. But then again, you do get more extraction, so if you have time for it, it is better. Another thing that's negative about the centrifugal juicer.
I just want to say
Now,
that.
can we do the questions
okay.
after? Let's finish this first. The other con with the centrifugal juicer is that it's more oxidation. Way more oxidation. Yeah, no, this is a known fact. When you have this juice just spinning around like
there's
that,
a lot of foam.
there's more foam, but there's a lot of oxidation, which degrades a lot of nutrients. Whereas in the slow juicer, you have less oxidation and more integrity of nutrients.
Yeah,
There's a third juicer as well.
yeah, the one Gerson was using.
I don't know if she was using it, but there's one called the Norman Walker juicer.
Oh, yeah, that was
And that is like the ultimate juicer apparently. I've never tried it, but it is the Norman Walker juicer is really incredible. Just thought of it now that, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put some affiliate links in the description to various juicers that we think are good. So you can click those and check out the juicers if you're interested.
I better write it down, because if I'm not, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be
Make a note.
making a mistake, and you're gonna.
And then
Go crazy.
the Norman Walker juicer is basically, I don't know exactly how it works, but essentially it's grinding everything up, I think, to the fiber, and then it goes into like a bag, almost like a nut milk bag, and then you squeeze the whole bag, and all the juice falls out on the side, and you get like and the fiber that's left is just like super dry. So that's like one of the best juicers apparently that there is, but it's apparently also very expensive.
Yeah, we were almost thinking about buying one at one
Yeah.
point.
But I think it costs like $2,000 or something like that.
probably,
$1,000, who knows? Let's go through some questions. There's a lot of cool stuff or comments. Sean says that Charlotte Gerson might have been referring to its protein ratio, unlike the dairy. Yeah, okay. So the protein ratio of carrot juice, that's cool.
Yeah,
Similar to breast milk.
and
Je-
yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Jenny says she would be juicing greens if she had a quality juicer. I don't love chewing big amounts of greens. Yeah, right. That was what we felt too. But then on the other hand, you could one thing that we also thought about after this situation where we were juicing our greens was that, what about all the fact that we're chewing greens and we're not doing it anymore?
yeah.
Maybe it's not so good for the teeth, right? Like when you're chewing, because if you think about bone density, for example, in the legs, when you're out running or lifting weights and stuff, you get denser bones because you're stressing, you're loading the bones. Maybe it's similar with the teeth. Maybe if you don't load your teeth by chewing something, greens being perfect for that, you might end up with weaker teeth. Maybe, it's just a theory, but so maybe there's a benefit to eating big salads because you're practicing your chewing.
Diane says that women who nursed other people's babies were called wet nurses, not milkmaids. They milked cows. And I was like, yes, there's something wrong, and of course it's wet nurses.
Sander uses the blender method with the paint strainer bags from the paint store. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Centrifugal, oxidizes. That's what I said. Yeah. Sean says that it's called hydraulic pressed. I guess, that's the Norman Walker juicer, I guess. That makes sense.
Jenny Canelata, true, but I do chew a lot of other foods, so I think it's okay. Yeah, it depends on what it is. At the point we were concerned about green chewing was really when we were basically only eating super soft papayas and bananas, so it's like there's no resistance really. But if you're eating like nuts or
jackfruit,
crunchy jackfruit,
or even non-crunchy jackfruit, just the fiber, you have to chew a little bit more. I don't know. Let's touch on the end here about performance and can it be used as a sports drink? Well, in very short terms, the ideal sports drink has somewhere between 60 to 90 grams of carbohydrate per hour of training. So it depends how long you're training and how hard you're training. But if you could have a drink, and then you need water, which depends on your sweat rate, but maybe somewhere between 1 and 2 liters per hour again. So, and then there's the sodium losses as well, which depends on your sodium intake. So if you had sugar, water, and salt, then that's the sports drink essentially, in a nutshell. Well, you could then make a sports drink by using celery juice. That will give you the sodium component and a lot of other electrolytes. And I guess carrot juice would be a good way to increase the sugar content. And then you could just cut that with water or something like cucumber juice.
Yeah.
So if you had cucumbers, celery, and carrots, for example, you could vary the amount of carrots to vary the amount of sugar, vary the amount of celery to vary the amount of sodium, and then ultimately dilute it all with either water or cucumber juice to make the right strength for the particular conditions that you're training in. So certainly I think juicing can be used as a way to create a sports drink, but if it's just a few hundred calories a day because you're training and you're otherwise eating a high calorie diet, I would rather just go with water, sugar, and salt. Because it's just, there's no real need for those extra nutrients in just those 200 calories that you're going to consume, or 500 calories that you're going to consume in a sports drink.
As long as you're above at least 2,500 calories.
Yeah. So
anything below that, I guess, when it's 10% of your diet, that's a bit much.
Yeah. What he's saying is that if you're eating a low calorie diet, then every calorie counts in terms of being nutrient dense. But if you're eating a high calorie diet, you can get away with some empty nutrients because you're getting so many nutrients elsewhere anyway.
Yeah.
I guess my point was just to the practicalities of it. If you had to make this really complex juice every time you went out for a run, it would be a bit inconvenient. It would be better just to throw some sugar in the water. It's just, that's what you need.
Yeah.
But it depends what you're interested in. And as Sander says, coconut water is it's an excellent electrolyte drink. You cut it with a little water and to make it less sodium concentrated, and you could add something else to make it more, maybe some sugarcane juice if you want to make it more concentrated in sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna wrap it up. There was a few things here. Jenny is looking for a perfect solution to carry in her running vest. Well, we could talk about that, Jenny, if you want to try making your own sports drink. I'm doing that myself actually right now these days. I'm experimenting with creating a sports drink. and so that's cool.
Bok choy has a lot of sodium. Xander says it's much cheaper than celery in the tropics. True. I ate a ton of bok choy when I was in Thailand at one point. Yeah, I think it's pretty much it.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Juicing, awesome and tasty and fun and healthy, as long as it's part of your diet, not your entire diet, on a consistent long-term basis. If you do a juice feast now and then, that's fine. But then again, if you don't have weight to lose, if your weight is perfect and you don't want to lose any fat weight, and you're living a generally healthy life, I don't see a reason why you would need, and you should probably avoid a long period of under-eating by juice feasting, and there's no necessity to do it if your diet overall is healthy. So it would be something as a transition tool, I would say, something for some people. But if you're already on a healthy regimen, then juicing should probably just form part of your diet, and then most of it should be whole, fresh, ripe fruit.
Yeah.
And alternatively, cooked starches.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was a really nice turnout, and so many comments along the way, which was super cool. And we should almost have like a big screen where the comments continue, so we can look through them more easily.
Yeah.
Glad you appreciated the stream, Diane. And Autumn says, "Can I come live with you for a month? I think I lose my excess weight in about a month following you two around." Yeah,
it's pretty simple, but it's tough work anyway. Hard work.
Losing weight.
Yeah, losing weight. It's hard work anyway.
Well, I do offer coaching, Autumn. So I mean, if you're interested, even here on Patreon, as you know, we have these top Patreon levels where there's either email coaching or a monthly Skype call, 20 minutes. If you're interested, if you could go to that 20 minute a month Skype call level on Patreon, and we could talk about weight loss long term if you're interested. Otherwise, come and live with us. That could be cool too. Sander thinks you look good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking wild as usual. Yeah.
Well, it was nice to have you with us.
Oh, it's so hot here. Just check it out. I have a hole in my shorts, but see how sweaty I get? Can you see it?
No.
It's like wet. It's like literally I could. Don't you see that it's wet?
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Well, it's mainly because you're talking and
I get so sweaty. Well, it's like 32 degrees in here.
Yeah, it's pretty stagnant. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day wherever you are, and we shall be seeing you in the next something.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, if you watch this on YouTube, go to patreon.com to join the next hangout and get exclusive content. And to all you guys on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for the guys joining the stream, and thanks to all you other patrons as well watching this on Patreon tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you and goodbye.